Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Here begins the response. Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddimah, composed in the 14th century, remains a cornerstone of sociological, historical, and political thought. This essay undertakes a critical evaluation of the Muqaddimah's central claims, meticulously examining its arguments and evidence across its primary sections. The goal is not to merely summarize its contents, but to delve into the validity and enduring relevance of Khaldun's propositions. The analysis considers the work's internal coherence, its methodological approach, and the implications of its conclusions for understanding the dynamics of societies and civilizations. Section 1 on Human civilization. In general, Khaldun begins with a comprehensive exploration of human civilization, positing its emergence as a natural consequence of human need for cooperation and social organization. He asserts that humans, unlike animals, require structured environments to obtain necessities and defend themselves, thereby necessitating the establishment of political authority and social institutions. This section introduces Khaldun's concept of umran, often translated as civilization or social organization, as the defining characteristic of human existence. A central claim in this section concerns the inherent differences between sedentary and nomadic societies. Khaldun argues that sedentary populations, accustomed to luxury and ease, become dependent on government and lose their capacity for self-defense, while nomadic groups, hardened by the harshness of their environment, retain a strong sense of solidarity and martial prowess. This distinction forms a foundation for his psychical theory of history. The argument relies heavily on observations of Bedouin and urban life prevalent in Khaldun's time. One might consider the extent to which Khaldun's generalizations hold true across diverse geographical and historical contexts. One must ask if his descriptions of sedentary societies are overly deterministic, failing to account for internal social divisions or innovations that could offset perceived weaknesses. The claim that sedentary societies are inherently weaker is subsequently challenged by the rise of powerful, urban-centered empires throughout history. Khaldun also argues that human nature tends towards imitation and that individuals are influenced by their social environment. This observation aligns with modern sociological theories emphasizing the role of socialization in shaping behavior and values. His analysis underscores the importance of social institutions in transmitting cultural norms and maintaining social order. Section 2 on Bedouin civilization, savage nations and tribes and their conditions of life. This section examines the lifestyles, customs, and social structures of nomadic populations, particularly Bedouins. Khaldun emphasizes their role as the foundation of many Arab dynasties and their importance in maintaining social order in rural areas. He argues that the solidarity of nomadic groups, known as a sabiyya, provides the necessary cohesion for political organization and conquest. Khaldun's description of nomadic life relies on the notion of the desert as a crucible for the development of virtues such as courage, self-reliance, and loyalty. He contrasts these qualities with the perceived decadence and corruption of urban life. This perspective presents a romanticized view of nomadic existence, potentially overlooking the hardships, inequalities, and internal conflicts within nomadic societies. Moreover, it risks essentializing entire groups of people, assigning fixed characteristics based on their mode of subsistence. The concept of a sabiyya is introduced as the most important factor for establishing dynasties and maintaining social cohesion. Khaldun contends that a strong sense of group solidarity allows nomadic groups to overcome larger, more settled populations due to their superior unity and determination. While a sabiyya is a powerful tool for mobilization, it also contains within it the seeds of its own destruction, as Khaldun himself acknowledges. The very solidarity that enables conquest can also lead to internal rivalries and factionalism, ultimately weakening the dynasty. Section 3 on dynasties Royal authority. Government offices and all related In this section, Khaldun outlines his theory of dynastic cycles, arguing that all dynasties inevitably rise, flourish, decline, and eventually collapse. He attributes this cycle to the erosion of asabiyyah over time, combined with the corrupting influence of luxury and the increasing reliance on mercenary armies. The dynasty's initial strength, derived from the solidarity of its founders, gradually diminishes as subsequent generations lose touch with the values and customs that sustain. Khaldun identifies several stages in the dynastic cycle: the establishment of authority, the consolidation of power, the pursuit of leisure and luxury, and ultimately the decline and disintegration of the dynasty. He argues that each stage is characterized by specific social and economic trends, culminating in the dynasty's vulnerability to external threats or internal rebellions. The cyclical theory of history, while offering a compelling framework for understanding the rise and fall of empires, is subject to scrutiny. Its deterministic nature suggests that historical events are predetermined and inevitable, potentially overlooking the role of contingency, individual agency, and unforeseen circumstances in shaping historical outcomes. Critics contend that Khaldun's model neglects the possibility of dynastic renewal or transformation. Focusing instead on the inevitability of decline, one might consider instances where dynasties adapted to changing circumstances, reformed their institutions, or revitalized their support base, thereby extending their rule beyond the predicted lifespan. Khaldun also discusses the role of government offices and institutions in maintaining political order. He emphasizes the importance of just and equitable rule, arguing that tyranny and oppression lead to social unrest and ultimately undermine stability of the dynasty. This assertion aligns with modern theories of state legitimacy and the importance of public trust in maintaining social order. Section 4 on sedentary people in cities and their conditions of life. This section delves into the characteristics of urban societies, contrasting them with the nomadic lifestyle. Khaldun argues that sedentary populations are more susceptible to corruption, luxury, and social decay. He also examines the economic activities prevalent in cities, including trade, manufacturing. Khaldun's portrayal of urban life emphasizes its vulnerability to vice and extravagance. He argues that the pursuit of pleasure and material wealth undermines the moral fiber of society, leading to the erosion of traditional values and the decline of social cohesion. This perspective reflects a common theme in modern thought, which often viewed cities as centers of moral and spiritual corruption. Khaldun acknowledges the economic importance of cities as centers of trade and innovation. He recognizes the role of specialization of labor and the division of economic activities in fostering economic growth. However, he remains skeptical of the long-term sustainability of urban prosperity, arguing that it often comes at the expense of social solidarity and moral rectitude. One must examine whether Khaldun's assessment of urban life is overly pessimistic. While acknowledging the potential for corruption and social decay, he may underestimate the resilience, adaptability, and creative potential of urban societies. Cities have often served as engines of innovation, driving technological progress, cultural exchange, and social reform. Section 5 on the various aspects and kinds of livelihood, such as profit, ways of making a living, and This section explores different forms of economic activity and their impact on society. Khaldun discusses agriculture, trade, manufacturing, and the professions, analyzing their contributions to wealth creation and social development. He introduces concepts such as the value of labor and the importance of a stable currency, foreshadowing later economic theories. Khaldun identifies agriculture as the foundation of economic prosperity, arguing that it provides the essential sustenance for the population and generates surplus wealth. He emphasizes the importance of land cultivation and the role of government In promoting agricultural development, he emphasizes value generation from the working of land as the basis for all other activities. He also examines the role of trade in facilitating the exchange of goods and services. He recognizes the importance of fair prices, honest weights and measures, and stable trade routes for promoting economic growth. Khaldun notes the symbiotic relationship between cities and rural regions, with cities providing markets for agricultural produce and rural areas supplying labour and raw materials. Khaldun's insights into economic activity demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of the principles of supply and demand, the division of labour, and the role of government in regulating economic activity. However, his analysis also reflects the limitations of his time, with limited understanding of technological progress or the potential for transformative economic shifts. For example, one could posit whether Khaldun's emphasis on agriculture as the primary source of wealth adequately anticipates the rise of industrial economies in later centuries. Section 6 on sciences and the various branches of knowledge. This section delves into the philosophical and intellectual pursuits of human societies. Khaldun examines the different branches of knowledge, including theology, philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. He analyzes their origins, their methods, their contributions to human understanding. Khaldun asserts that the pursuit of knowledge is a natural human inclination, driven by curiosity, the desire for understanding, and the need to solve practical problems. He acknowledges the importance of both theoretical and practical knowledge, arguing that both are necessary for the advancement of civilization. He categorizes sciences into two broad categories: religious sciences, which derive from divine revelation, and rational sciences, which are based on human reason and observation. He emphasizes the importance of adhering to sound methodology and avoiding unfounded speculation in both types of inquiry. Khaldun's discussion of the sciences reflects a synthesis of Islamic and Greek intellectual traditions. He acknowledges the contributions of ancient Greek philosophers and scientists, while also emphasizing the importance of Islamic theology and jurisprudence. One significant point is Khaldun's skepticism towards certain branches of speculative philosophy. He cautions against excessive reliance on abstract reasoning and emphasizes the importance of grounding philosophical inquiries in empirical observation and practical experience. It can be questioned if his skepticism represents a limitation in his overall approach to knowledge. He does, however, acknowledge the benefit of those sciences, such as mathematics, with demonstrable applications, allowing for the advancement of civilization. He notes the applicability to engineering and construction from these forms of knowledge. Additionally, he addresses the dangers of superstition and charlatanism. Section 7 on the interpretation of history. Khaldun elaborates on his theory of history, emphasizing the importance of understanding the underlying social, economic, and political forces that shape historical events. He cautions against relying on superficial narratives and emphasizes the need for critical analysis and careful evaluation of sources. Khaldun argues that history is not merely a collection of isolated events, but rather a continuous process shaped by recurring patterns and underlying causes. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the social context in which events occur, taking into account the prevailing customs, institutions, and power structures. He criticizes historians who rely on hearsay, exaggerate events, or promote biased interpretations. He advocates for a more objective and scientific approach to historical inquiry, emphasizing the need for verifiable evidence and logical reasoning. Khaldun's emphasis on critical historical analysis foreshadows modern historiographical methods. His insistence on contextualizing events, evaluating sources, and identifying underlying causes anticipates the development of social history and the annals school. One could consider the extent to which Khaldun's methodology remains relevant in contemporary historical research, particularly in light of postmodern critiques of objectivity and the challenges of interpreting historical narratives from diverse perspectives. Section 8 concerning cities, buildings, fortresses and other things required for civilization. Khaldun discusses the physical infrastructure of civilization, including cities, buildings, fortresses, and other structures that support social and economic activity. He analyzes their design, construction, and function, emphasizing their importance for maintaining order, facilitating trade, and providing security. Khaldun recognizes the importance of cities as centers of population, commerce, and cultural exchange. He examines their layout, their architecture, and their role in shaping social life. He discusses the design and construction of buildings, emphasizing the importance of functionality, durability, aesthetic. He also examines the role of fortresses and other defensive structures in protecting cities and territories from external threats. He analyzes their strategic placement, their construction techniques, their effectiveness in deterring invaders. Khaldun's discussion of the physical infrastructure of civilization demonstrates an understanding of the relationship between the built environment and social organization. He recognized that the design and construction of cities and buildings reflect the values, priorities, and technological capabilities of a society. It is perhaps possible to argue that this section is less theoretically novel than some of the previous ones, but represents more of a summary of the then-known principles and practices for ensuring the civil functioning and defense of settlements. Section 9 covering a number of other sundry and important subjects. This final section addresses a variety of miscellaneous topics related to civilization, including demography, social customs, and the arts. Khaldun discusses the factors that influence population growth, the origins and evolution of social customs, the role of the arts in expressing cultural value. He examines the relationship between population size, economic productivity, and social organization. He analyzes the factors that contribute to population growth, such as fertility rates, mortality rates, and migration patterns. Khaldun also discusses the origins and evolution of social customs, arguing that they are shaped by a combination of tradition, necessity, and human ingenuity. He analyzes the role of customs in maintaining social order, transmitting cultural values, and defining group identity. He touches on the role of the arts in expressing cultural values, preserving historical memory, and providing entertainment. He discusses the different forms of art, including music, poetry, and visual arts, analyzing their aesthetic qualities and their social functions. One potential challenge here arises in reconciling Khaldun's emphasis on observable social patterns with the inherent fluidity and subjectivity of artistic expression, are universal aesthetic principles compatible with his emphasis on cultural context. In conclusion, Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddimah offers a profound and comprehensive analysis of the dynamics of human civilization, while some of his claims, particularly those concerning the inherent weaknesses of sedentary societies and the inevitability of dynastic cycles, require careful consideration. The work as a whole remains a remarkable achievement. Khaldun's emphasis on social solidarity, the importance of economic factors, and the need for critical historical analysis continues to resonate with scholars today. The Muqaddimah stands as a testament to the power of human intellect to understand the complexities of social life and the enduring significance of historical inquiry. His work offers insights into statecraft, economic theory, and the sociology of knowledge that continue to inform contemporary scholarship. Yet the very strength of his synthesis also invites critical engagement, prompting readers to question its limitations, refine its propositions, and explore alternative perspectives on the enduring puzzles of human history. The value of the Muqaddimah lies not only in its answers, but in the questions it provokes. The work remains an intellectual touchstone, stimulating debate, inspiring research, and enriching our understanding of the human condition.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.